Halloween 2018. So, Halloween 2018 is directed by David Gordon Green and co-written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. It also stars original Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis, Will Patton as the cop, and then Nick Castle as the Shape, who was the original Shape in the 1978 version. There were a few people that acted as the Shape back in the 1978, the John Carpenter version, but Nick Castle was the main cast for Michael Myers, aka again, the Shape. How's it going, guys? I am the casual reviewer. I'm the fine line between critic and casual viewer. And I got to see Halloween 2018 last night. So this one is taking place 40 years after the original from 1978. And Laurie Strode is now kind of in isolation. She's got her house on lockdown, a bunch of these security lights, security cameras, a hiding spot, guns. She's kind of just ready for the day that Michael Myers escapes the asylum he's in, which October, I want to say 30th or October 31st, whichever day it was. Of course, the bus that was transferring the patients from one asylum to another destination crashed, and Michael Myers escaped. So finally, they get the chance to reconnect, and Jamie Lee Curtis gets to go one-on-one versus Michael Myers. I'll preface with this. I'm not trying to compare it to the original, and I was not going into this expecting it to live up to that standard, because the original is just such a transcendent film in general, and for the horror genre specifically, but again, in general, it just is a phenomenally shot film and just very well made. So, but the one thing is, I was biased on a good side. I was, waiting for my, the switch was right here, and I was waiting for something to flick it on. And no matter how much it was kind of flicking off, I wanted something to be so great that it would flick on, and I don't care, I would love the movie. Unfortunately, I didn't feel that way in this movie. It was pretty underwhelming to me, and I'll get to those points, but I'll start off with what were some positives to me. And that was, you can obviously tell that David Gordon Green, the way he was shooting, he was trying to homage the original version at times. And I think for the most part, the direction was pretty well done. But again, the whole thing wasn't an homage. Some of it kind of seemed like it wanted to be the 1978 version, and some of it wanted to be like a 2018 version of a slasher. It was kind of a mix. But for the most part, I think the direction was good. I do think that Jamie Lee Curtis was the best part of this film, even though I feel like she was a little less likable in this one than she was in the original. I still think she was likable, and she was a good, strong female lead that was brave and ready to fight on this fear that she's had for 40 years. One other good thing I can think of is there's a scene with a babysitter. It's Laurie Strode's granddaughter's friend is babysitting this kid, and this kid is hilarious. I was laughing out loud. It was great. I think the comedy went on a little too much near the end of the scene. I'll get to that in the negatives. But for the most part, this kid I thought was very funny. The banter was great with each other. It seemed real with a kid nowadays and a babysitter, how it would probably go. Maybe not in all places, because it wasn't as much of a professional way of talking to a child, but it was believable, and I liked it, and I thought it was really funny. So those were some of the positives, but again, like I said, this film was a little underwhelming to me, so unfortunately, I have to go into that. So the first thing is, this didn't ruin the movie for me, and it didn't dwell on me throughout the entire thing, and I didn't let it affect me through the rest of the movie, but I just wish they explained in some way, they didn't have to show it, but if they just explained in some sort of dialogue how Michael Myers got from the end of the 1978 version to the asylum in this, I would have loved it, but they didn't, unfortunately. And if you don't know, if you haven't seen the original and you're just going to go into this one and not see the original, at the end of the 1978 version, which this one is a direct sequel to, Michael Myers had gotten shot by his psychiatrist, the guy that's been studying him for forever, Dr. Loomis, and he fell off a 2-story house, like the house's patio, like over the edge, and he falls down, appears to be dead. However, Dr. Loomis gets distracted, looks away, looks back, Michael Myers is gone. And in this one, he's just in the asylum now. So I don't know how he disappeared. I mean, maybe when Dr. Loomis heard a distraction, maybe the cops were just like dragging him along back, and then when he turned, they just happened to already have him in custody. I don't know what happened. I just kind of wish they went over that. Another thing is the characters. Other than Jamie Lee Curtis's character, I don't know why they served a purpose, or Michael Myers' character, obviously. So you're supposed to care about a lot of people in a very short amount of time that's given to each person. So there's 2 investigative journalists, there's a few cops, including the cop from the 1978, like Will Patton's cop, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter, Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter's friends, if you caught up with that. It's just, there's so many people in this film that you're supposed to care about, and then when the kills happen, I feel like they're not very satisfying. So I'm going to get to what I was saying is there's 2 kills in this I think were pretty satisfying, and it just happens to be 2 random people that Michael Myers killed on Halloween night. Just walked into the house, he just wanted a chef's knife, and obviously you can't just go in stealing someone's chef knife, you have to kill him, duh. And so he goes in and he kills what appeared to be Little Debbie, baking her apparently now final baked treats. And so that was, you didn't see it, but you knew what happened, and it was satisfying as it panned over and followed him, and you see her lying on the table. And then there was another person later in that day where he kills from the back, and that was another satisfying kill. But then these other kills to me weren't. Maybe the very first kill that he has that you see was, I was hopeful after that. I was like, this is pretty good. But other than that, I didn't really care. I wish this movie would have kept more of a focus on Jamie Lee Curtis's character, more so like 80%, 90% of the movie. Obviously Michael Myers also. But they spent so much time on her granddaughter, who served really no purpose in this film. The writing served like no purpose. She had a boyfriend who acted douchey to her at this moment, and this is the perfect person to kill and to show us. And just because, it's those movies, when someone's acting douchey, you start to not like them, and then you're like, alright, he's gotta go. And he did go, but he wasn't killed, he just disappeared from the story, and then the story moved on. And then it moved on to a part where her friend is alone with Michael Myers in this field, and he's trying to say like funny things, and it just wasn't good writing. I didn't think it was very funny. I thought maybe if Danny McBride said it, it would have been funny, but then it would have been more like a parody. So I don't think in any way that writing would have worked. Before I get into the worst thing, and I just want to say, I thought the ending made it a little better. So the ending turned it from being what could have been an atrocious film for me to just absolutely dislike, be in my top 10 immediately type of film. It saved me from feeling that way. Now this movie right now is on the edge of honorable mentions of top 10 worst films for me, and it's not going to be for everyone, obviously. 84% on Rotten Tomatoes and like a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a mix of critics and casual viewers. So more people like it than not. I'm in the minority. But yeah, the ending was good, and I liked how they ended it. Now, there's one scene that's about 2/3 of the way in, the beginning of the 3rd act. The new psychiatrist for Michael Myers, the person that's studying him, the protege of Dr. Loomis, you can say, he does something that is so stupid. There's something that happens with him and the cop from the 1978 version that is absolutely so mind-boggling. I can't comprehend how they could have actually put that in the script and kept that for the final cut. I don't know why they did. They probably had no other idea how to continue the story, because otherwise I guess it would have ended, and it's so dumb. It brings me back to the time in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom where the girl says she's like a clone, or they find out she's a clone, and it is just the most ridiculous, distracting thing ever, because for the rest of the movie I was like, that is stupid. And luckily, again, the ending at least picked it up a little bit. But when you see it, I don't really know how anyone can justify why they did what they did. There's a million other ways they could have written this movie so that it could have been very smooth and coherent all the way through without that part in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, that's my review, guys. I really sincerely hope you guys see it. I know if you're a fan of Halloween, you're going to see it no matter what. You should see it no matter what. I am that type of person where, you know, no matter what the critics say, if I really want to see a movie, I'm going to see it. I'm not going to recommend it, and my rating is going to be to wait and see it on DVD. I do think you should see it. I don't want to make you spend your money to go see it, but if you're going to go see it, I hope you do enjoy it. Most people do. But my number rating is going to be a 5 out of 10 for this one. I have to see it again to see if it actually does make my top 10 worst. Which I will see again. But yeah, so that's my review. If you guys want to see a much better film, in my opinion, go see Bad Times at the El Royale. That was a really fun movie. Less people liked it, but if you want to take my opinion and roll with that, then that's what I would go see if I were you. But that's it for me. Again, I am the casual reviewer, fine line between critic and casual reviewer, aka John. I hope you have a great day. I hope you do enjoy this movie if you see it. Have a good one.